This is Jaren from BYU Photo, and today we're going to talk about BYU Photo's wireless workflow. Now, you may be asking, what does that mean? What's a wireless workflow? Well, essentially, it's the system that we use to get photos sent directly from our camera through FTP to a site where they can be used and immediately posted on social media networks. Now, I know it sounds like it's a lot of work and a lot of extra effort, but the main reason that we do this is one word: engagement. You see, people are the most interested in what they're doing in that moment. And whether they're sitting in their seats in the arena or they're sitting on their couch, they care about what they're watching. It wasn't that long ago that I would spend a couple hours editing photos after a game. And by the time I actually got the gallery up, people were already asleep. I missed my opportunity. So I have a very different philosophy now, and that is basically I want to beat the commercial. That means if at a football game there's a huge play and they score a touchdown, I want to get a photo of that play up on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, so that when the commercial starts and they're watching the Doritos on the TV, they're looking at their phone and they're seeing that play. They're going to be the most engaged with that photo in that moment. They're going to like, they're going to share, they're going to comment. If I can deliver photos that quickly, I will maximize the engagement with our audience. I mean, it's human nature. Interest will diminish over time. With people's short attention spans, you're trying to compete against so many other great things. People can go watch YouTube or Netflix. They can watch Baby Yoda, and you can't compete with Baby Yoda. So what you need to make sure and do is something really, really simple. Feed people when they're hungry. For us, that means we need to deliver photos as quickly as possible. There are some challenges to setting up a wireless workflow. First of all, you might need some extra equipment that you don't have right now. But the bigger issue, the difficult issue, is the setup. The camera companies do not make it easy to set up your cameras, but once it's set up, it works really well. So we're going to help you with that. The first thing you need is a wireless-enabled camera. Now, that can be with an internal wireless system or have an adapter attached to it. The second thing you need is a wireless network or a hotspot that will allow you to send photos. And then finally, you need an FTP site or a place to send the photos to. The first part of the wireless workflow is capturing the images. We always shoot RAW plus JPEG so that we have the RAW files for later, but then the JPEGs are what we actually will send through FTP. We usually will size them down to about 1 to 2 megabytes, and they'll be about 3,000 pixels wide, which is plenty big enough to do pretty much anything you need to do on a social media network. It's really important that you capture the frames correctly in camera. You're not going to have time to go tweak and edit and fiddle with those photos, so you want to do your best to set up your camera to capture images perfectly. That means going in and looking at your JPEG settings and adding color or tone or contrast or sharpness so that the images look great coming right out of camera. This is something that photographers have a really hard time with. They want to make those photos perfect before they go out into the world, but you just have to let go. I've seen too many photographers at games on their phones or on their laptops editing and tweaking photos, and they're missing the action that's happening right in front of them. When it comes to sharing photos on social media, speed is more important than perfection. I want you to spend more time shooting, not editing, not fiddling. Another thing you need to watch for is don't send photos until the play is actually over. That means that the celebration's over too. I've been caught many times trying to send a photo when a great celebration happens and I miss it. You can wait a few seconds to do that. The last piece, don't oversend. It's tempting to send so many photos to make sure that you have everything covered, but you know the rule with editors, don't you? They will always use the worst one. Don't even give them the option. Just send the stuff you want used. The next step is to set up your camera to work with a wireless network. Now, those wireless networks cannot have splash login screens. The cameras can't deal with that. So it either needs to be an open network or a network that has a simple password that you can enter to be able to use it. Another option you can use is you could bring a dedicated wireless hotspot or a personal hotspot. In fact, when I travel with the BYU football team, I always take these two things with me. And this hotspot is a Verizon hotspot. My phone is an AT&T hotspot. And generally, one or the other is going to work very well depending on the location we travel to. The last thing, get there early, set it up, test it before the game. There's nothing worse than trying to photograph a game and figure out your wireless network at the same time. The final step is to distribute your photos. Now, the best thing to do is send them to an FTP server where other people can access and download those photos. But you can also use a website or Dropbox or a digital asset management site such as PhotoShelter or Libris. It's really important that other people have access to those photos. Here at BYU, we have 19 athletic teams and we have social media managers assigned to each one of those teams. All of those managers can get in and receive those live photos and download them and edit them and share them. It's really important that you coordinate with your editor or social media manager before the game so that you understand if there's any milestone coming up or a player is going to break a record or any specific needs that they have so you can deliver them in a timely manner. Remember, your job's to take photos. It's their job to share them. Another thing that we have that's really helped us out a lot is an app called FileFlow, which has been awesome. It essentially allows the social media manager to see the photos coming live on their phone, and with 2 taps of their thumb, they can download that photo to their phone, and then immediately they can share it on social media networks. Well, that's it. That's our wireless workflow. What we've done to help you set up your own system is we wrote a blog post, and you can check it out in the link below. That'll take you through every single step of the setup of our system. Also, we've shot some videos with different cameras so that you can actually take your camera and set it up to work with a wireless workflow. If you have any questions, just ask them in the comments below, and we'll see you on the sidelines.